That other breaking news, this on Jared Fogle.
This view from Skycam 6. Federal and state investigators taking items out of Fogle's house this morning.
After learning Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being convicted.
Hollywood may look glamorous on the outside, but it has a dirty underbelly. And nothing shows this more than the shocking list of 10 loved stars who are now sitting in jail. Their downfall is far more chaotic than any movie they have ever made. How did 10 of Hollywood's most loved stars end up locked in jail? What shocking secrets led to their downfall? Join us as we look at the fall from grace of 10 Hollywood stars who went from red carpets to jail cells. Number 10. Jared Fogle. Jared Fogle became one of the most recognizable faces in American advertising when he appeared as the cheerful spokesperson for Subway restaurants starting in 2000. His story seemed like the perfect American success tale, as he claimed to have lost 245 pounds by eating Subway sandwiches while attending Indiana University. Millions of viewers watched his commercials during their favorite television shows, and Fogle became a household name who represented healthy transformations and positive life changes. However, Fogle was hiding disturbing criminal behavior that eventually destroyed everything he had built. In 2015, federal investigators raided his Indiana home as part of an investigation that had been quietly building for months. The evidence they uncovered was deeply troubling and revealed that Fogle had been engaging in behavior that victimized the most vulnerable members of society. On August 19, 2015, Fogle pleaded guilty to possession of child exploitation materials and traveling to engage in illicit conduct with minors. The investigation revealed that he had received explicit materials from the director of his charitable foundation and had traveled to New York City to pay for activities with minors on multiple occasions. Federal prosecutors detailed how Fogle had used his wealth and fame to exploit children, and the evidence against him was overwhelming and undeniable. In November 2015, a federal judge sentenced Fogle to 15 years and 8 months in federal prison, and he is currently incarcerated at FC Hunter Inglewood in Colorado. His wife immediately filed for divorce. Subway terminated all ties with him, and his name became synonymous with one of the most shocking falls from grace in advertising history. While Fogle's crimes shocked suburban America, another entertainer's actions would prove even more disturbing to audiences who had welcomed him into their homes for years. Number 9. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was once known as America's Dad because of his starring role on The Cosby Show, which dominated television ratings throughout the 80s and early 90s. His portrayal of Dr. Cliff Huxtable presented an image of a loving father, successful professional, and moral authority figure that millions of families admired and tried to emulate in their own lives. In 2018, after years of legal battles and a previous mistrial, Cosby was finally convicted on 3 counts of aggravated, indecent assault against Andrea Constand, who had worked at his alma mater, Temple University. The jury heard testimony from multiple women who described similar patterns of behavior, and prosecutors argued that Cosby had used his fame and power to prey on vulnerable women for decades. Judge Stephen O'Neill sentenced him to 3 to 10 years in state prison, and officers immediately led the 81-year-old comedian away in handcuffs to begin serving his sentence at SCI Phoenix in Pennsylvania. However, Cosby's time behind bars took an unexpected turn in June 2021 when Pennsylvania's highest court overturned his conviction on technical grounds related to a previous agreement with prosecutors, and he was released after serving nearly 3 years. Though he walked free from prison, his reputation remains permanently destroyed, and he is currently defending himself against multiple civil lawsuits from his accusers. While Cosby's legal situation evolved in surprising ways, another actress faced consequences that seemed far more straightforward and severe. Number 8. Allison Mack. Allison Mack captured hearts as Clark Kent's close friend Chloe Sullivan on the hit series Smallville, which ran for 10 seasons and built a devoted fan base around the young Superman's adventures. Her character was intelligent, loyal, and resourceful, serving as the moral compass for many storylines and becoming a fan favorite who appeared in more episodes than any other character except for Clark himself. But after Smallville ended in 2011, Mack's life took a disturbing turn when she became deeply involved with NXIVM, an organization that presented itself as a self-help group, but was actually operating as a dangerous cult. The group's leader, Keith Raniere, had convinced many educated and accomplished individuals to join his organization, but beneath the surface of personal development workshops lay a sinister operation that exploited women. In April 2019, Mack pleaded guilty to racketeering and racketeering conspiracy charges after initially maintaining her innocence. In June 2021, she was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison and began serving her sentence at FC1 Dublin in California. Her sentencing memorandum expressed remorse for her actions, but prosecutors argued that she had been a willing and enthusiastic participant who used her celebrity status to lure vulnerable women into a dangerous organization. While Mack's crimes shocked fans of her television work, another beloved comedian's actions would prove that the entertainment industry's problems extended far beyond any single genre or generation. Number 7. Danny Masterson. Danny Masterson became a household name playing the sarcastic and lovable Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show, which aired from 1998 to 2006 and remains popular through streaming services that introduced the series to new generations of viewers. His character was the cool, rebellious friend that every group seemed to have, and Masterson's natural comedic timing made him one of the most memorable parts of the ensemble cast. Beginning in 2017, multiple women came forward with accusations that Masterson had assaulted them in the year 2000 at his Hollywood Hills home during the height of his fame. 3 women filed police reports detailing similar incidents where Masterson allegedly attacked them after they had been drinking, and the Los Angeles Police Department opened an investigation that would take years to complete. Judge Charlene Olmedo sentenced Masterson to 30 years to life in state prison, and he's currently incarcerated at California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo, where he continues to maintain his innocence and pursue appeals. His conviction cost him his role on the ranch, destroyed his relationship with former co-stars who distanced themselves from him, and ended what had been a successful acting career spanning more than 3 decades. But while Masterson's crimes involved individual victims, another Hollywood figure's conspiracy would touch thousands of families and expose corruption at the highest levels of American education. Number 6. Lori Loughlin. Lori Loughlin spent decades building a wholesome image that began with her role as Rebecca Donaldson on Full House, where she became America's favorite aunt figure, who appeared in nearly every episode across 8 seasons. In March 2019, federal prosecutors revealed Operation Varsity Blues, a massive college admissions scandal that exposed how wealthy parents had paid bribes to get their children into prestigious universities through fraud and deception. Loughlin and her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, were among the most high-profile defendants charged in the scheme. Prosecutors alleged that the couple paid $500,000 in bribes to get their 2 daughters admitted to the University of Southern California by falsely presenting them as recruited crew team athletes, even though neither daughter had ever competed in the sport. In August 2020, Judge Nathaniel Gorton sentenced Loughlin to 2 months in federal prison, and she reported to FC1 Dublin in California to begin serving her sentence in October 2020. She was released in December 2020 after serving her full sentence, and she also paid a $150,000 fine and completed community service hours as part of her punishment. While Laughlin's sentence was relatively brief, another actor's violent crime would result in a much longer period behind bars. Number 5. Michael Jace. Michael Jace built a respectable career as a character actor who appeared in numerous television shows and films over more than 2 decades in Hollywood. His most memorable role came when he was cast as police officer Julian Lowe on the critically acclaimed FX series The Shield, which ran from 2002 to 2008 and earned praise for its gritty and realistic portrayal of law enforcement in Los Angeles. Prosecutors presented evidence that Jace had sent a text message to his wife luring her home, then ambushed her in their hallway and shot her multiple times while their sons watched in horror. The murder appeared to be motivated by Jace's belief that his wife was having an affair and his anger over their financial situation, which included a pending bankruptcy. In June 2016, Jace was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 40 years to life in state prison, where he is currently incarcerated at California State Prison in Corcoran. His sons, who lost both parents on that terrible night in 2014, were placed in the care of relatives who must now help them process the trauma of what they witnessed. While Jace's crime was a domestic tragedy that shocked those who knew him, another performer's pattern of behavior would reveal a predator who used his fame to victimize numerous women over many years. Number 4. Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood for more than 3 decades, serving as co-founder of Miramax Films and the Weinstein Company, which produced and distributed some of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful films in modern cinema history. His companies released movies like Pulp Fiction, Shakespeare in Love, The King's Speech, and countless other projects that earned hundreds of Academy Award nominations and wins. But Weinstein's power in Hollywood came with a dark secret that many people in the industry knew about, but felt powerless to stop or expose. In October 2017, the New York Times and The New Yorker published explosive investigations detailing decades of allegations that Weinstein had attacked numerous women who worked in the entertainment industry. More than 80 women eventually came forward with accusations against Weinstein, including famous actresses like Ashley Judd, Rose McGowan, and Gwyneth Paltrow, who described a pattern where Weinstein used his position to isolate women and then attack them, often in hotel rooms, during business meetings or film festivals. Judge James Burke sentenced Weinstein to 23 years in state prison for the New York convictions, and he is currently incarcerated at Mohawk Correctional Facility in upstate New York, while also facing additional charges in California that could add decades to his sentence. His conviction represented a watershed moment in Hollywood's reckoning with predatory behavior, and he went from being one of the industry's most feared and respected power brokers to becoming a symbol of everything wrong with how fame and wealth can shield people from accountability. While Weinstein's downfall involved numerous victims and decades of abuse, another actor's crime was a single act of violence that destroyed multiple lives in an instant. Number 3. Suge Knight. Marion. Suge Knight wasn't an actor in the traditional sense, but his larger-than-life presence and influence on hip-hop culture made him a celebrity who appeared in numerous documentaries and news programs and even had actors portray him in various films about the rap industry. Knight's reputation for violence followed him throughout his career, with numerous incidents and allegations suggesting that he was willing to hurt people who crossed him or interfered with his business interests. In January 2015, during the filming of the NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton, Knight became involved in an argument at a burger stand in Compton, California. Security footage from the incident showed Knight's truck suddenly accelerate backward and forward, running over 2 men and then fleeing the scene. Knight is currently incarcerated at R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego, and at age 59 with various serious health problems, many observers believe he will likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. While Knight's crime involved a brief moment of deadly violence, another celebrity's online behavior revealed a pattern of predatory conduct that horrified fans who had admired his talents. Number 2. Josh Duggar. Josh Duggar became famous as the oldest child in the reality television series 19 Kids and Counting, which aired on TLC and followed the enormous Duggar family and their conservative Christian lifestyle. In 2015, the first cracks in the Duggar family's perfect image appeared when reports surfaced that Josh had attacked several underage girls, including some of his own sisters, when he was a teenager. Judge Timothy Brooks sentenced Josh Duggar to 12.5 years in federal prison in May 2022, and he is currently incarcerated at FCY Segoville in Texas, where he will remain until approximately 2032. His wife, Anna, has stood by him throughout the ordeal despite having 7 children to care for and overwhelming evidence of her husband's crimes. The Duggar family's fall from grace represents one of reality television's most shocking scandals, where a carefully crafted public image concealed truly disturbing behavior that betrayed everything the family claimed to represent. But as shocking as Josh's crimes were to reality television fans, the final entry on our list involves a comedy legend whose actions left his victims and the entertainment community searching for answers about how such evil could hide behind such a beloved public persona. Number 1. R. Kelly. R. Kelly dominated R&B music for 3 decades with hits like I Believe I Can Fly, Ignition, Remix, and countless other songs that defined the sound of 1990s and 2000 soul music. His powerful voice, songwriting abilities, and innovative production techniques made him one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with more than 75 million records sold worldwide and 3 Grammy Awards on his mantle. The accusations against Kelly continued to mount over the years, but he maintained a loyal fan base and continued releasing music and touring until the Chukka Me Too movement created an environment where survivors felt safer coming forward with their stories. In 2019, the documentary series Surviving R. Kelly featured detailed accounts from numerous women who described a pattern where Kelly would identify vulnerable young girls, usually aspiring singers, and then manipulate them into an abusive system where he controlled every aspect of their lives. Federal prosecutors in New York and Illinois built cases based on decades of allegations, and in September 2021, a jury in New York convicted Kelly on all counts, including racketeering and violations of the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting people across state lines for illicit purposes. In June 2022, Judge Ann Donnelly sentenced Kelly to 30 years in federal prison for the New York convictions, and he received an additional 20 years in February 2023 for federal convictions in Illinois, with 19 of those years to run concurrently with his New York sentence. Which of these stories shocked you the most? And do you believe that celebrity culture makes it easier for criminals to hide in plain sight? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.